Yep, we're finally to a sad part. So here we are after a couple of weeks of hiatus trying to do other stuff. And I still have plenty of stuff to work on. So I'm finally getting around to at least getting through the next couple chapters. I believe I'm through 20 now. So we did 17, 18, 19, and 20 on this read through. So if I was downcast at the beginning, it's because we've reached one of the saddest parts in the book. There's a lot of good stuff, but we're reaching the sad part. So, yep. So the three main things in this is, well, I'm counting the third thing as kind of a twofold thing. But we have Matthias's escape from the Sparrows with the help of Dunwin. We have uh, Jess, Squirrel, and Basil, Stag, Hare stealing back the tapestry cloth. And then we have Chickenhound's escape and the death of Methuselah. So here we are at one of the saddest points in the series. So, what to talk about in this one? Not a whole lot more like deep character stuff, but again, we're building on a few things. I guess the first and kind of most interesting thing is Basil, Stag, and Jess Squirrel. I think that there's quite a bit of interesting stuff going on there where they both have very much an edge to them, and that's kind of one of the things that sometimes um, 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 Brian Jakes will lose and sometimes gain, and it all kind of just depends. And I think Triss may be the worst of this, but there's um there's a couple other things where I feel like sometimes um Jakes loses characters lose edge. But here it's really good. I like the fact that Basil and Jess are kind of like again kind of outlaws in a sense. They go off without anyone's permission. They're both very much doing whatever they can to get the tapestry back, being devious, mischievous. The kind of language that they use, not that it's bad language, but like just the kind of like let's stick it to those rats kind of attitude, kind of I really like. Um, and so we have them stealing the tapestry. Jess Squirrel's amazing acting performance where she has the dishcloth and pretends to give in to Cluny's demands is really great. I love their whole dynamic. That's a dynamic I kind of completely forgotten about was um, Basil and Jess's dynamic. How they're both willing to kind of grit their teeth and do whatever. So I really like that. That's really fun. Um, Clooney's excuse me, Clooney's near near kind of psychoanalyzing of just Squirrel is really funny because you know he's not going to really succeed at all. Just Squirrel's too good for him, but it will it will play a part later, kind of showing early comparison contrast, and we'll get to that. But it's really I find that really fun. The fact that Just Squirrel is really just playing it up and really just getting under Clooney's nerves and all that. And again, I really like the language once again used to describe Basil as well. His ability to just appear and disappear, his little cheekiness at Clooney's expense where he just pops up right next to him. is really funny. And it's really kind of interesting how easily Cluny gets embarrassed here. It's like here he is on the edge of his major fight, which he of course doesn't know is compromised at this point. But other than that, it's really kind of fascinating. Here he is on the edge of probably what he thinks is once again his victory, and already he's being thwarted. He's being made look a fool even before the major battle. So I really find that really funny and fascinating and really great bit. So um, yeah, um, Matthias's escape from the sparrows very well done. Um, it's a little looking back on it, it's a little hard to distinguish exactly what's going on, but I really like the distraction technique Dungwing uses. I like her cheekiness in this moment and her slyness. Once again, kind of mirroring what's happening with Basil and Jess, that she kind of has that edge to her, that she's not just a doting mother, but she knows how to manipulate King Bull Sparrow. And I really like the slow descent to try to get Matthias out of there, and just him trying to crawl along the edge just to escape and get down far enough to get to Jess Squirrel, right? And that but yeah, that's also a wonderful image of uh Matthias trying to get down to Jess Squirrel and then Kimbo Sparrow coming back and the anger he has, the fearfulness of Matthias. I think that's all played really, really great. And how, and then just King Bullsparrow's relentless attack, and then them just floating up into space. That I always love it t- uh, when Brian Jakes describes characters falling off ledges. I don't know why. I think he does a really great job, but like just them being in the air together as they're falling, really great haunting image of the two and wondering what's going to happen to Matthias and if he's going to survive uh, there. That's really very well done. Um, so yeah, um, what was it? There was something I wanted to mention about more about those two. Again, nothing like really spectacular. It's all though in Brian Jakes's imagery. Um, I think he does such a good job at creating and conveying the 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 imagery of those scenes, both the frightening image but also the very comedic image. And so we have really great contrast between Jess Squirrel's pretty easy uh, manipulation of Clooney, where it really there's just no threat whatsoever what's going to happen to Basil, uh, but Matthias really having a hard time of it, which again is really interesting. That like tells you that even though Matthias is being trained to be the warrior, that Jess Squirrel kind of and Basil have more knowledge. They're just more integrated with the world outside, and it kind of feels like Jess is that way too, where because she's not an official like um Redwall squirrel. She's not working. She lives nearby, but she doesn't actually work for them, so she kind of has um more of that kind of worldly experience outside the Abbey than def way more than Matthias does, or anybody else does. So really, and that's kind of what makes Basil and Chess stand out. Aside from probably Constance, they have more of an experience of what the world is, which is really kind of interesting, especially when we have this kind of Abbey world that's very secluded from it, that there's characters outside of that that really know that there's actual life going on, and it's not like the Abbey's Redwall's unaware of that, but they know how to. But they've had the experience and knowledge to realize that a lot of creatures outside the Abbey don't have all those benefits and have been able to succeed in that, and they really have an edge to them. And that's what makes Jess and Basil stand out. And you could really see Matthias really growing into his own, but still having that uncertainty and edge. And Jess, Jess has much easier time getting to Matthias than Matthias getting to Jess. So in that scene, and but yeah, I find it really interesting, um, like just how easily manipulated Kimball Sparrow is too. I think that's I might have mentioned that, but I do like it here where he's not an idiot, but he's also easily manipulated, not because he's an idiot, but because um, he's just so prideful and his anger gets the best of him and it causes him to come out in rage. And it's like, it's kind of interesting, except for the fact that his scabbard is taken. Um, like, there's no reason for King Bullsbear to be that, like, mad. And he doesn't even really seem to wait for anybody. Like, he just goes off Matthias on his own. He doesn't even say, like, we don't have the image of his servants even being manipulated. He could have sent his servants in to even take care of Matthias, and he doesn't. Instead, he just lives in a blind rage toward Matthias. So there's a couple more things I got to say there. But of course, the big thing is, and because I went through chapter 10, they they have for a second a fear that Matthias is also dead as well, and it's kind of that interesting contrast, right, where we have just as the tapestry is returned, that that we have these two seeming tragedies, and one of which ends up being a near tragedy, uh, or appears to be. We don't know yet, but we're more than likely. But still, that the fact that Matthias came this close to death and Methuselah kind of contrast to this very um, glorious image of Methuselah weaving back the tapestry, and that's one of the things I also like is that Methuselah is the one who's mending the tapestry as his own um, being gets taken away. He's mending the being, not an actual being, but the he's mending the 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 tapestry, putting it back together, making it whole again, and his life is gonna end. So I like that imagery, that kind of contrast, and that it is Methuselah, and like I like that also because we have, right, Matthias escaping right and nearly dying just as Methuselah dies, and so there's also this kind of like won't you almost have this image like won't Matthias be happy to see the tapestry, and Methuselah like probably is like just waiting for Matthias to attack, and he's not gonna be there when Matthias gets back. It's really kind of interesting that that Brian Jakes would set it up like that. Again, that might seem coincidental, but I think that's kind of, again, kind of the fate playing stuff where Methuselah is, because Methuselah, in the end, if you really think about it, at this point in the story, kind of has no purpose beyond that. He has served his purpose, which is to give Matthias all the knowledge he needs to regain Martin's sword, and then it's going to be up to him to really do what's necessary to lead and save um, Redwall. And so Methuselah, in a sense, has no purpose left in that picture, and so it's kind of fitting in a sense that he should go now. And again, we have Methuselah kind of living to this ripe old age. He's um, done his part, and he's mended the tapestry. The mending of the tapestry is kind of like a change in the nature of where the story will head. Instead of everything kind of um, uh, being about defense and protecting the abbey, it's gonna the 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 tapestry is mended. Thus, now we can go forth and focus on really protecting and saving the abbey. Right? We don't have to worry about all the other little things. This is now the main goal. And so Methuselah has, again, played his part, so to speak. So I think that's really kind of the point of that. Again, we also have Chickenhound being the one to kill Methuselah. And what I like about this is again kind of that weird again contrast we had with Sela earlier. Sela died earlier, where we have Chickenhound again taking advantage of hospitality and stuff, and but for a minute we have this kind of strange image, right, where he gets caught, he's running away, and he kills Methuselah just by trying to get him out of the way with the bag and slamming him, right? And again, not really, you're just trying to get away, not even trying to kill Methuselah. And for a second, when he realizes what he's done, he stops and is like kind of for half a second horrified at what he's done, and just the tragedy of it sinks into him. But then, um, uh, is it? I think it's Friar Hugo, not Bernard or somebody else. I think it's Friar Hugo. I'm trying to remember now. Who chases um, Chickenhound off, crying murder and all that. Then Chickenhound runs off, manages to escape out into the woods, and suddenly, after the fright of that and almost getting caught, it's like his whole demeanor changes. And again, I find this so fascinating. Chickenhound is one of the most fascinating characters in all of Redwall to me, especially among villains. And we'll again, is he dead? We'll see. Uh, we'll get to that at some point. But what I find so amazing about this is just again he once again fills with pride. I escaped. I killed a mouse, like taking pride in that. And so like I did something. I accomplished something. I stole. I murdered, and I escaped Redwall, right? And now he thinks of himself as, well, this makes me special now somehow. And that's really kind of a very fascinating view and he starts giving himself again all sorts of titles and stuff. Uh, but yeah, and it's really kind of amazing how quickly the the thing in his head switches, where he goes from being frightened and horrified to being almost proud, and it's really speaks to Chickenhound's character, where he like has a moment. He keeps having these small moments where he's clearly manipulative, he's clearly sly and devious, but there's a bit of a conscience, and like, but slowly more and more as he just devolves into this kind of just like greedy little monster. It all starts searing. It's almost like he's decided, rather than really taking those moments where his conscience pricks him to actually consider anything, to really dwell on that. He immediately then chooses to sear his conscience and um, scar his what little um, humanity has, and it gets totally twisted and corrupted almost immediately, and gives into it and allows it to change him into something else. Rather than letting those moves turn him in one way, it twists him in another way, and it just um, at this point appears to destroy him. And so, where he in that wonderful moment when he grabs for the bag, and instead he finds Asmodeus. Again, one of the best moments in this book so far. One of my favorite moments is the Chickenhound realizing, oh, I don't have the real strength to do this. I'm not as important and as cunning as I thought I was. So definitely love that. Um, so yeah, um, yeah. I think I got a bit more than I was thinking. Um, but yeah, I really like these sections. I think they're really good. We have the Matthias' escape, Methuselah's murder, Chickenhound's escape. We have the restoration of the tapestry, the manipulation of Cluny, and it really stands out um, a lot. One of the things I really like about going back a bit to the Jess, Squirrel, and Basil thing, I like how I think it's Kilconey is trying to try for a minute tries to mimic Clooney's kind of attitude when he's trying to talk down Dress Squirrel, and then Clooney's like, "Oh, I can do this. I'll help I'll help Clooney along and show I'm just as manipulative." And just backfires so terribly onto him. I love that moment, and again, just Basil being such a cheek and showing Clooney what a fool he is. And it's really kind of interesting how despite how scary Clune can be, just how foolish he actually looks uh, in light of things that uh, that he's nowhere near the master he thinks he is, um, and he's slowly losing his control. Everything since reached Redwall has proven um, not so well for him, and it really creates kind of the it destroys the image uh, of Cluny the all powerful, and he's not. Yeah, he's sneaky, he's devious, and often like the biggest reminder of this is if you go back to the very beginning, the only we have him destroying farmhouses, eating like pigs and stuff. It's all kind of disgusting. But the one image of him running into uh like animals like that, there was the minor community, right? Well, they drive him off. The only thing he can do is he ends up crushing the mine onto the animals. That's the only real story we get. And what's so interesting about that is really he had no, like, his army was actually not as powerful as he made it out to be, right? And so he had to use deceive and malicious tactics in order to win. In order to win and seek his revenge, he had to play dirty. And so once again, kind of Cluny's not really as haunting as he seems. He's done very wicked, evil things, but slowly we're beginning to realize that Cluny has no strength. He can't really do anything, and he's gonna be manipulated into his own downfall eventually, and we'll get to that on the specifics of that. But as you can imagine, but anyway, if you have not read the books, um, but the fact of the matter is that Clooney really doesn't have what he thinks he has. Uh, it's all smoke and mirrors. Just like Basil Stag Hare is all smoke and mirrors in this section, so that's really nice. Anyway, I think that's it. Uh, yeah. So next time, hopefully, I'll be around and I will have gotten some things taken care of, and we can get back on track. And I will be doing hopefully more Redwall stuff, especially starting next year, since it will be what is it? 40th anniversary of Redwall starting next year. So I'll probably try to set things up so I can have stuff ready uh, for next year. Meanwhile, you can enjoy my other stuff, um, particularly my other podcast, which is my main focus, which is Crazy Creature Caricatures, and my books on animals, which you can look at as the Crazy Creature series by Wesley Bear. And so, if you want to learn more, you can check those both out. So, search Crazy Creatures series by Wesley Bear on Amazon, and you can also look for um, my other podcast, Crazy Creatures Caricatures, if you want some animal stuff. If you like, if since this is an animal related series, fantasy series, I'm sure you guys would like that as well. So please check that out as well. Anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful day.